Hi guys, it's Jan from Melbourne Foodforest. Can't believe it's been a month already since our last tomato update. We have had so much hot weather recently and our tomatoes are developing beautiful colours and patterns. And I want to show you some of the varieties that we didn't get around to last time, as well as some pests and diseases that we're seeing on our tomatoes at the moment. So let's get into it. Look how beautifully the striped Roma have ripened. They have different colours at all stages of their development. So you can see when ripe, it's green with cream stripes. Now this semi-ripe one is almost green and red and it almost loses its stripes. And then finally, when they're ripe, they're red with gold coloured stripes. So pretty. Really productive variety as well. So this plant has lots and lots of fruit, trusses of fruit on it. Seems to form small trusses. This one's got 4. That one, few flowers didn't form, so it's got 2. And this one's got 6. Wonderful, productive variety. And a really unique Roma for those who like the Roma shape, but want something a bit unusual. This is the Black Beauty. Such an intense colour already on that, and that's a small tomato. You need to plant these dark varieties under a lot of bright sun. While tomatoes don't need direct light to ripen, they do need sunlight hitting them to form this colour. So that's why the underside doesn't have it. It's green. And what happened to this plant, you'll see, it's huge, but not as much fruit as you'd expect. So I over-fertilised this accidentally. It's a new bed, created it with compost, and this year we've got chooks, so very rich manure, and then I added worm castings and may have added a handful of fertiliser as well. Just too much for it. Too much nitrogen causes lots of leafy growth, so beautiful, impressive plant. Not as much fruit as you'd expect, but it's starting to go back into balance again now because I'm seeing lots of trusses forming up there, and that one there. Beautiful variety. That's a big black beefsteak, so can't wait till these get bigger. This is our dark galaxy. It really is as dark and as moody as its name. Amazingly, it seems to have white specks on it that kind of look like the night sky. So it's really crazily beautiful. You can see the top side again where the sun's hit has formed the deep purple colour, and the bottom side is still green. So direct sunlight is so vital for these darker varieties, and it looks like it's been dipped in paint because it's almost got like a paint line there. It's so stark. Such a beautiful variety. Look forward to trying some. I think that one at the back's almost ready. Ready for harvest. This is our other dark galaxy plant. You can see this fruit has had some sunburn on it, and yes, fruits do get sunburnt. So cucumbers, beans, tomatoes, and even peaches, on really, really hot days under the direct blistering sun, they will get burnt just like us. So you'll either want to give some shade protection or leave more foliage on your plants, and don't pick them as bare, even though that can be beneficial for tomatoes. We're starting to net some of the tomatoes because seeing birds pecking at them. Once they get a sense that you've got fruit here, they'll keep coming back. So if you've had one pecked, you'll have more. So we'll be netting more and more, and I find these individual fruit protection bags work really well for tomatoes. Look at this dark galaxy, so beautiful. These are the Sart Roloise tomato, fancy French name which I am butchering. They're so pretty. They're almost a grey coloured tomato, different to any of the others when they're unripe. They've got these ridges, but they've got purple stripes in them, so it's like someone's come through and painted on ridges. Such a painted looking tomato. Looks really unnatural almost, in the most beautiful way. And you can see the two at the front have much more of its pigment, which is that white grey. And this big one at the back is actually green, because it's not getting as much light as needed to form that colouring, but still has a lot of purple on top. Hi Panda, wanna see some tomatoes? Yeah? And this one has a crazy number of tomatoes on the way and flowers forming. Don't know if they're all going to set into fruit, but if they did, that would be magnificent. So many flowers. Very productive variety and really pretty. Updating you on this monster. This is our Costoluto Genovese tomatoes, Italian heirloom. Beautiful pleated patterns on them. And this was the Megabloom, the fasciation. So it's a deformity, but it's caused by flowers melding together, joining together like conjoined twins. So you can see that's created two massive tomatoes with these babies on them. I think this bunch is ready for the picking, and we can go enjoy these. They look amazing. And this plant has just been a superstar with producing fruit. There's so much on it. It's getting quite competitive in the greenhouse, so our edamame at the front here, it's beginning to encroach on the space of our tomatoes. Things always get cozy in the greenhouse by the end of the season. Lovely. So this has probably been our most productive variety this season. There's lots of tomatoes hidden under the leaves here. Beautiful. So you might have seen a plume of whiteflies fly out. They're a sap-sucking insect similar to aphids, but they fly. And the conditions this year, hot and humid and wet in parts, have led to an infestation. So I've been doing some soap sprays and just doing what I can to keep them under control. There you can see some of them there on the back of the leaf. Nasty little buggers. They do take away some nutrients from the plant, but unless they're in plague proportions, which they're getting close to, they don't affect the plant that much. So I've done a few sprays, but I've mostly been leaving nature to its course, and I've seen lots of hoverflies which help kill whiteflies. So letting nature take its course and stepping in only when absolutely necessary. Moving across here, this is our Kellogg's breakfast variety. Last tour, didn't have any fruit yet, but this time it's catching up. Really big, beautiful, orange beefsteak once it ripens. You can already see that massive pleated shape starting to form. And there's one up there. Really lovely. Can't wait. And this one, similarly last time, didn't have any fruit. But hey, look at it now. This is Goldman's American, Italian. Lovely pleated ridged pear. Just love that shape. Still not as much fruit as the others, but coming along now. Our always happy sweetie tomato is just powering along with more and more trusses everywhere you look. It's actually started growing out the roof of the greenhouse because we left this vent open, and now I can't close it because it's sticking out the top. So that'll be a fun harvest job. I'll have to get the ladder and get onto the roof. Look at the trusses that it forms though. Just spectacular. Such a happy camper. And a no fuss tomato. You can see riper trusses down here. Oh, that one's split. When your watering's inconsistent or if there's a big rain, you should check on your tomatoes. Try and harvest the coloured ones beforehand and check on them definitely after the rain because there'll be ones that have split. So guess where the missing tomatoes on this truss have gone? All the lower ones that the kids can reach have been raided. They're just so sweet. Really, really sweet variety. And pretty as well. And this is our netted black zebra Roma. If you have issues with fruit fly too, netting can be really valuable because it's so fine. It keeps out the fruit fly. And you put it on just before the fruit colours, like right now. You can see some more fruit over there. Lovely little teardrop shaped tomatoes. Can't wait till the black stripes form. And over here, this is our Indigo Pear. We've picked a few of these ripe. They turn orange because they split in the rain, so I don't have the ripe ones to show you here, but you can see that colour, the indigo colour on the pear. We grow 3 pear varieties: red pear, orange pear, indigo pear, oh, and actually large pear. I'll show you big pear. Let's turn around and see big pear, which has also been netted. Love these backyard varieties because you can't buy them anywhere. Looked online and can't get this seed. So this is, compared to our standard pear, so like that indigo pear or the red pear, this is about 6 times larger. So I'll have to do a side-by-side comparison when we pick them. But these are much, much bigger. Backyard only variety. Who knows, someone could have bred this themselves accidentally and a friend gave them to us. So here we're moving to the 8 ball. These are meant to be black as the 8 ball you use in the game of pool or billiards. They're meant to grow in trusses of 8, but on most of my plants I've seen. So this one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I am not going to hold it against it if it's an overperforming 8 ball. I will just appreciate its beauty and some extra tomatoes. These weren't producing yet in my last tomato tour, but they are booming ahead now. Definitely seems to be a later variety because we have a plant in the front yard too, which is also slower to produce but is catching up. Intense colour. Here are some of your standard red pears, not your big ones. You can see the size of that. That's the cherry size. So cute. It's a little baby pears here. Some of the Brad's atomic grape has also been netted. Slight colour change and the birds were attacking it. But we love our sun ripened tomatoes. I know some people will pick them at this stage, but the nutrition and flavour really builds, and for me that's one of the beauties of homegrown tomatoes, is that you can sun ripen them and you don't need to pick them slightly early and bench ripen. There's a different nutritional profile and honestly a much richer taste, so better for you if you can. But understand with fruit fly and other things going on that you may need to pick early. See, there's some there. So in our barrels I've planted mostly determinate varieties, which are the bush varieties. They don't go nuts and you don't need to pinch out all the laterals. You actually want to keep them for maximal fruit. And they tend to stay a lot more compact, but are really productive. Look, there's a hole on that. Caterpillar's gotten in at some point, but it looks to have closed up. We'll see how that goes. So much fruit. And this had nothing on it last tour, so this is powering ahead. Everywhere you look. It's a lovely classic red tomato. A good staple. Nothing that's going to blow your socks off. No fancy patterns or colours. Nice classic medium-sized red tomato. I just have to show you the Rouge de Marmande. Another fancy French tomato. Another dwarf bush variety. Really productive. Let me show you where that's planted. It's sandwiched between our two arches, which are covered in pumpkins. If I planted an indeterminate variety, that would just be too much for this space. So these bush varieties are just perfect. They're not too competitive because there's just so much going on in this bed. Behold the Barry's Crazy Cherry. It really lives up to its name, this tomato. It forms trusses of 20 to 30 tomatoes. They're teardrop shaped. You can see, let me try and get a good shot of that. They're pointy at the bottom. They're almost sharp. And when they're ripe, they turn a yellow-white colour. It's almost a translucent colour. They look like little light bulbs, Christmas bulbs, hanging off the plant. It's so beautiful. Flavour is also one of the best. And you can see, yeah, a few more crazy trusses up here. The flowers don't come in fews, they come in 10s and 20s. Everywhere. Really delightful, unique variety that lives up to the hype. So this is our tomato. If you're wondering where the name tomato comes from, it's a funny play on the word tomato. Tomato. It's a really reliable salad, small salad variety, and it usually forms quite long trusses of fruit. Just taking off this year, and it often wins taste tests for being one of the sweetest and highest in umami, most complex flavors. It's a really good staple. It's not your prettiest, but it is a very classic cherry tomato, and for that reason we grow one every year. These are our labels, recycled. Tomato. Pineapple pig finally has a fruit. Beautiful pattern on this beefsteak variety. It's going to be a yellow green striped variety, and here is what I'm talking about. A Megabloom. See how that's way bigger than your standard tomato flower? I'll find another one to show you as a comparison. That's almost double or triple the size, and you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomato flowers fused together, it looks like. So that is fasciation in action, and a Megabloom. And if that sets, it's going to form one of these monsters that I showed you just before. So let's see, I'll update you next time. You can see right next to the Megabloom I found a standard pineapple pig tomato flower. Look how much smaller that is. That is your standard single bloom. And this is many blooms fused into one. And we don't know exactly why it happens, but it could be genetics, could be a combination of temperature and environmental factors. I find that Megablooms are incredibly common in beefsteak, large tomatoes. In fact, I remember reading that's how they bred the big tomatoes. So you would save the seeds from the fruit that comes from this Megabloom, and you plant that, and you keep selecting for more Megablooms because that Megablooms create the biggest tomatoes. And so through that method you can create a stable, huge beefsteak. So they're really common. We get probably one per beefsteak tomato variety plant every year. Look out for them on yours. I bet you've had them before, but probably didn't know what it was or didn't notice it. Really common, but very unusual as well. And here, which variety is this? Big Rainbow has finally also joined the party with some tomatoes. Funny shaped ones. Don't look that big as yet, but at least we've got some on the way. Pineapple tomatoes also coming along nicely. It's a pretty truss. And up here. And now we move to the purple Cherokee, which are developing their ridges and their dark tops. They're so pretty when they colour up. Really rich tasting tomato. And quite large and beefy. This is your stereotypic, your quintessential meaty, purple meaty tomato. So this is our splash of cream variegated tomato. In case you wondered what the fruit looks like, it's not too spectacular on this version. It still has a darker top, which is beautiful. But the tomatoes themselves are not that different to your standard tomatoes. It's more the spectacular leaves, as I showed you last time. Now this one got a bit sunburnt, especially the white parts of the leaf are really delicate. So on the hot days, it's gotten some sunburn. Now the one I'm most excited to see the tomatoes are from this Painted Lady variegated tomato. So this is different to Splash of Cream. It has more white green variegation as opposed to creamy coloured variegation. I spotted a few baby tomatoes, but not many yet. These are meant to have a variegation on the fruit as well, so I'm pretty excited about these, and I will update you next time as fruit develops, because there's lots of flowers on the way. And variegated tomatoes can be a bit slower than your standard green ones. Reason is pretty obvious. The leaves have this pretty white variegation, and where it's white, it can't photosynthesize as well. So most variegated plants are slower growers than their pure green counterparts. Lots and lots of flowers though. Oh wait, yes, I found one fruit lurking at the back. You can see that beautiful pattern on it, and that gets more pronounced as it ripens. It's as striped or variegated as the leaf. It's beautiful. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like our videos and subscribe to our channel, as this helps support us to make more content. Next time I'll show you some of the other varieties I didn't get around to today. So until next time, see you then.